Hey, what's up, folks? Welcome back to On Texas Football. I'm lifetime Longhorn Rod Babers. Pleased to be joined by fellow lifetime Longhorn, the young prodigy CJ Vogel, and my good friend and esteemed colleague Jeff Howe joining us as well. Today, we're going to talk about one of the featured positions in a Sark offense, the wide receiver position. Obviously, big topic of conversation this offseason, getting the number one wide receiver out of the transfer portal in Cam Coleman. And we'll talk about why that has been a positive trend for Texas as of late and why that could continue with Cam Coleman. We'll get into that. Before we do, let's thank our friends over at Von Lane. We appreciate them very much. We'll give you a message from Von Lane a little bit later on. But if you have any where to travel for business or for personal reasons, go visit family or for conferences or you got conventions, our friends over at Von Lane, they offer the most luxurious travel experience on the road today. All right, guys, this is the stat that I saw that I thought was interesting. With the addition of Cam Coleman, Sark has landed the number one wide receiver in the transfer portal 3 of his 6 seasons he's been at Texas, actually in 3 of the last 4 transfer portal offseason cycles. He's been able to land the number one wide receiver. Got Cam Coleman this campaign, A.D. Mitchell in 2023, and then Isaiah Bond in 2024. And I went and looked up a stat even deeper. I went to look up how many schools and programs have produced multiple first or second round wide receivers who were transfer portal additions, and I only could find one, and that was Texas. So it seems like if you go look at Ohio State has the longest streak of wide receivers being drafted, period. They have 5 in the last in 4 straight years they've had a wide receiver drafted. That probably will continue for the next 3 or 4 years for them. But Texas actually had a really good streak too. They had 4 drafted in a 2-year span in 24 and 25, and that was actually like the second best streak in the country currently. It won't continue, of course, but it gets you to the point about how Sark has been able to maximize wide receiver talent, especially via the transfer portal. First, Jeff, I'll open it up to you. Why is it so attractive for wide receivers coming out of transfer, the top guys, to be, obviously to be lured and wooed by Sark and his system?
I think Sark's offense itself is attractive. I think, or especially early on, I think a lot of guys looked at what he did at Alabama, especially you go back to the 2019 offense at Alabama when he had the 4 first-round wide receivers. He found a way to get them all on the field, to get them all involved, to get the ball in their hands. So I think guys feel like, hey, if you're worthy of getting the football, if you prove yourself, Sark will get you the football. I think the 2020 Bama offense, what he did with Devontae Smith specifically, man, if you're a really special player, he's going to scheme you open and he will form his offense around you. What I think is really interesting too, other than that real first portal cycle going into the 22 season when, Ajay Hall was a part of that class. It didn't work out for a number of reasons. Isaiah Nayer got hurt in camp, so you never really got to see what he could do. After that, I think A.D. Mitchell's really the guy that set the tone for where we are now, because I think he proved, hey, if you're not quite ready for the NFL, go spend a year in Sark's offense, get a little polished. He'll have you ready for the NFL conceptually, because we know Sark's offense, they don't teach you, oh, here's how you play the X position or here's how you handle the slot. No, conceptually, you got to know how to do everything as a wide receiver in Sark's offense. So, CJ, I think it's real friendly for the NFL, and I think guys see the attractiveness of, hey, if I'm a wide receiver and I'm worth my salt, here's a system that not only can I play in, but I can thrive in because he will feature me if I'm that good.
I think that's the biggest thing as well. It's the ability to go to the Texas offense, the Sark offense, right, and be featured, right? And that's something that we saw, especially with Matthew Golden later in that season, is, hey, we have a really special talent here. He's quick off the line. He's a bit able to create separation, obviously the straight line speed as well. How do we feature him? How do we get him the ball the most that we possibly can? And towards the back end of that season, we certainly saw that happen. So for Sark, I think that's definitely a big reason for it. I think that's a big allure coming out of the portal for a number of these kids as well. And obviously the quarterbacks is another piece of it, right? Yeah. You have a 5-star number 1 overall quarterback with Quinn Ewers. Arch Manning is one of those guys. KJ Lacey, we all heard very positive things for him coming out of the 2025 season as well. And of course, another 5-star kid in Dia Bell. So if you're a 5-star quarterback, or 5-star wide receiver coming out of the portal, it makes a lot of sense to say, hey, let me go to a place that's going to feature me. And they also got a quarterback waiting for me that can get the ball to me whenever I feel and please as well. That's a big piece of it as well for me.
Yeah, I think you nailed it there, CJ. The quarterbacks. I mean, you can't right. You can't undersell how important it is when you can go in there and say, "Listen, we got an NFL quarterback throwing you the football." Scouts are going to be coming to see him, and they're going to see you. And that's definitely the case for Arch Manning. And CJ, I'll give you credit because you've been saying it for a couple of years. It matches up with one of my philosophies I've had for a long time, Jeff, and we've been talking about it on Longhorn Blitz. Wide receiver is the deepest position in football, in my opinion, at any level. Just it's a lot of really good quality wide receivers out there. Texas is a really good example. And you've always said you should take a wide receiver every year in the portal. You take it every year. You should just mark it down. Just take you one every year, maybe even a couple every year, depending on what your needs are and what the depth is. I think for Sark, I believe he is adopting your philosophy. I don't know if he's adopting it because he's heard you say it, or adopting just because he understands, oh, now I have proof of concept. My offense, I need to go get a guy out of the portal or multiple guys out of the portal every year. And not just a guy, I need to go get, as Coach Shipley calls them, GoDaddies.
Well, I think it makes sense, right? You know, it's the position in which you've seen the largest body of work across college football, right? And there's plenty of them. So for Texas, it's very easy to go find a guy that fits what you need in a given year, whether that's a straight line speed guy, whether that's a big body receiver, possession catch guy, a red zone threat, whatever you want to say. Texas has found a way to utilize and find and make the most out of just about every type of receiver out of the portal. And to your point, Rod, and to the point that we've made over the last couple of years is there's plenty of those kind of guys. And at Texas, you can go out there and find the highest level caliber as well. And that's something that I think gets lost in this is you don't just need to find a body at wide receiver. You need a game changer. And you go back and you find – or you look at what Texas has been able to deploy out of the portal over the last 3 or 4 years, and every single guy is a difference maker. It's an instant impact guy that makes the life of the quarterback all the easier. So I'm all for it. I think it certainly helps. And Texas this year with Cam Coleman specifically, I mean, it doesn't get any better than that.
Hey, Jeff, I want to talk about this for a few minutes while we got some time, because there's a lot of hype now about this wide receiver room. Ryan Wingo, all SEC caliber player last season. He was your number one, but now you're bringing in Cam Coleman, a guy who's been projected since his freshman year, basically, that he was potentially going to be a first-round pick. Got those kinds of natural tools and traits. Texas had some really good, as of late, the modern era of Texas football, some really good wide receiver rooms and duos. I played with I played with a few, with Roy Williams, B.J. Johnson, Sloan Thomas. That was one of the best. I obviously Jordan Shipley, praying for the Shipley family. God bless him. Him and Quan, easily the GOATs, right? That duo and that. Are we gonna be looking at where are we gonna put Ryan Wingo and Cam Coleman? Remember, Lou Jordan Humphrey, Colin Johnson was a nice one.
Yeah,
that was a sweet one for Bam Bam Sam, and even Sarkis had a couple of good ones prior to this one coming up in 2026. I don't know if we've ever done this. Maybe this is an off-season project. We rank the best. Why? Maybe it should have been this video. I apologize. All right, rank the greatest wide receiver duos and where we project Wingo and Coleman to be in that discussion with Arch, by the way, by the end of 26.
Let's not forget now, depending on when you're watching this video, a member of that 2002 wide receiver room with Roy Stone and BJ has a chance to win a Super Bowl because Kyle Shanahan still has the 49ers in the playoffs. So just but no, I mean, look, for me personally, this is my personal opinion. Roy Williams is my GOAT of Texas wide receivers. Just I haven't seen one physically like him before. Haven't seen one physically like him since. I think Jordan and Quan, I think that's by far the greatest duo we've ever seen in Texas. And then when I don't know if you talk about greatest, because other than Devin Duvernay, Colin Johnson and Lil Jordan Humphrey, they're not in any track meets. But if you talk about just 3 guys that work so well together, that was a really good trio. Now I put that up against the trio Texas had in 2023 with A.D. Mitchell, Xavier Worthy, and Jordan Whittington. That's NFL wide receivers. But I think this has a chance to be as good or better than those last 2 trios I mentioned, the Humphrey, Johnson, Duvernay trio, and the Mitchell, Worthy, Whittington trio, because we talk about Cam Coleman and the talent is there. And we obviously know Ryan Wingo. We've seen him. We've seen the glimpses. We've seen the flashes. Can he truly unlock it and put it together? Emmett Mosley, to me, is an NFL player, too.
Yeah.
I'm really intrigued by what he can do. CJ, I know we talked about it, putting Mosley in the slot and seeing what he can do. So, yeah, I think this could be, Rod, one of those memorable trios. But as far as a complete room, there's some of those Texas receivers, you'd have to think about technically, even though Jordan Shipley was injured. I mean, that 2004 Texas wide receiver room, that's Jordan and a young Lima Swede. 05, Jordan was hurt again, but that's Jordan Quan and a young Lima Swede. So there's been probably better rooms at Texas over the last 20, 25 years than you realize.
Yeah.
This three, it's got a chance to maybe be the best trio we've seen.
Good. What are your thoughts, CJ, about that?
No, I think the trio is the best way to look at it, right? And, it's easy to look at it with Cam Coleman and Ryan Wingo at the top, but you throw Emmett Mosley in the mix as well, and you're sitting there saying, hey, I know Texas has seen some very talented trios, and I might be jumping the gun just a bit, but this could be as talented a trio Texas has seen 30 years. Like this,
yeah.
That's what you're dealing with when you throw Cam Coleman in the mix, right? And
that's true.
For the flaws that we saw with Ryan Wingo a year ago, this is still a 900-yard guy, and this is your leading receiver, a 5-star kid. So, that is as impressive as it gets. And for Emmett Mosley, I think it's one of those things. It's where would Texas have been without Emmett Mosley a year ago?
Oh, you had another loss on your hands. You'd had another L.
Maybe two, right? Like he was that important for you, and he did so in basically a limited role because of the injury coming out of fall camp. So for the three of those guys, and for Arch Manning going into his senior year, which is another part of it, right? To get all of these guys accumulated in one room at the time in which your quarterback is going to be a fourth-year senior, that's huge because we often see it at times in college where you get one room and the other room doesn't match up, right? Or your quarterback doesn't align necessarily with the talent that you have in a room. Texas has a great thing building right now in its passing game because you have 3 NFL wide receivers. You have a very talented Khalil Lockett, Dalen McCutcheon, Jermaine Bishop, who I think we all think the world of coming out of high school as well. And a quarterback that going into 2026 might be the best in the country. So that's a special group building, and that's going to be fun for next year, no doubt.
Yeah, no, it's we will maybe have a second video or a separate video later on this offseason about ranking the greatest duos, trios, wide receiver rooms. I like that idea, Jeff. All right, before we get out of here, let's thank our sponsor, our friends over at Von Lane. A special message from them. Folks, it's time. The holiday season is over. It's time to get back to the meetings, time to get back to that packed travel calendar. Well, if you're still doing it the old school way and trying to drive yourself to these locations and dealing with the road rage and in battling traffic, I tell you, folks, you need to, you're doing yourself a disservice. And if you're still flying those short routes, dealing with the TSA hassles and delayed flights, that can also be very stressful. Folks, the only way to do it is Von Lane. Von Lane delivers first-class travel experience on the ground. You board in minutes at a private hotel terminal, settle into one of just 22 oversized leather seats, enjoy complimentary Wi-Fi, snacks, beverages, and hot towel service on every trip. And on select departures, Von Lane also offers complimentary meals, making travel time even more productive and relaxing. And right now, they're actually linking with Starlink internet access across their entire fleet to making the complimentary Wi-Fi even faster and more reliable. Perfect for staying connected on the way to those meetings and conferences. I've taken the Von Lane several times myself to Houston to visit family. I've taken it, to DFW and Dallas on business. I love the Von Lane. My wife's a big fan. Her and her friends have taken the Von Lane to concerts and festivals. They serve Austin, Dallas, Houston, San Antonio, Fort Worth, Plano, the Woodlands, Nashville, Memphis, Atlanta, and Knoxville. And if you're traveling with the team, you can charter your own Von Lane, design your trip from pickup to drop off. Just visit vonlane.com, VONLANE.com. And if it's your first time riding, use the code OTF26 at checkout to receive $20 off your first ride with Von Lane. Von Lane, your private jet on wheels. Thank you very much to our friends at Von Lane. And thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, Jeff. Great stuff as always. Thank you, CJ. Appreciate you taking the time as well. And thank you guys out there for watching and for listening. So for CJ and for Jeff, I'm Lifetime Longhorn Rod Babers. Until next time, hook 'em horns.